Hey guys, so thanks for joining me and having this kind of final holiday review of the half year that we've just had. It's been an absolutely crazy 6 months, and we're going to include July in this, so we'll say 7 months. And we've had a lot of fun, and we've got a lot to talk about because I think it's really important to kind of reflect on the past half year and try and think what's gone well, what can we improve on, and what has to happen in the second half of the year. I think that's a really important way to finish. So we'll start off. I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves. So my name's Nick Clark. I'm Policy and Communications Officer at Social Economy Europe. And I've been coordinating the podcast now for around 10 months. I think this is going to be our 10th official episode. And we've even started a brand new mini series with our members Febea. So things are happening with the podcast, and I'm really pleased with it. But it's a pleasure to have you guys on. And let's start with a new face, with Clara. Clara, can you introduce yourself and tell us what's your role at Social Economy Europe?
Yes, so I'm Clara. I come from Belgium, and this year I finished my 3 years bachelor in European Studies in Maastricht. And I'm currently doing a 1-month internship at Social Economy Europe, which came as a great opportunity actually to move from a theory-based experience, I would say, to a more field-based experience, allowing me to get new insights. And my tasks there have been various, I would say, from attending high-level meetings to being in charge of social media, for instance.
All right, that's amazing. And first of all, I have to say you're doing brilliantly. For somebody that's only been with us a month, you've already made our lives much easier. So thank you very much for that. And Victor, you're a very familiar face on the podcast. And Victor is Director of Social Economy Europe. But let's just introduce yourself, if that's all right, for people who might not know you. I don't know how that could be possible at this stage.
Sorry to be boring. In any case, that's it. I'm introduced, I think, so no need to for more than that. And by the way, just a question for Clara that just popped out. How do you find it? Is it better the theory or the practice? Do you find it very contradictory, Clara?
Actually not. It's totally different, but I would say like the theory experience is more chill. It's always, you get a routine. Working here, it's always new experience, new things, so more dynamic. Actually, I think probably I like it more, but I'll continue.
Probably, yeah. Let's keep it there.
We'll see by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Every day there's something new. That's every day there's a new task, a new thing, something new to learn. It's great. So guys, let's just start off on a positive note. Okay, this year, everybody knows this year's been a bit strange. It's been a bit weird. But what is your favorite thing about this year before we get started? So Clara, tell me something you like about this year.
Actually, my favorite thing was when I received all the results of my exam and that I passed my bachelor, so I'm done with that. Yeah. So that was great.
Nice. What about you, Victor?
Well, I think that, I will personally, I don't know exactly what was my favorite thing of the year. I hope that it's the holidays that are about to come. And on an organizational basis, they're almost there. So very much looking forward for holidays. And on an organizational basis, I think that maybe 3 things. You ask for one, Nick, you got 3. It's impossible for me to get you one.
That's going to be the story of the podcast today, I think.
That's going to be the story of our lives in general. But I think that first of all, well, it's a year of transformation. So we're all learning what that means very concretely. It's a year of hybridness. This hybridness dimension, it's here definitely to stay. And we are seeing, things that were very abstract before now are becoming very concrete. How to work digitally, the green transition that has been a thing that everyone was talking. Now it's becoming a reality now, right? The European Commission, we were discussing about that, said that by 2030, I think, no more polluting cars or carbon cars can be sold. So we are in the middle of the transformations, and we are seeing things concretely and how they are affecting our lives, and that's cool. It's also complicated, so empathy to others that are maybe suffering or struggling with this situation. And for Social Economy Europe, one word: ambition. It's our year. It's the year of the action plan. So we are learning to think out of the box. We are learning to conquer new spaces. We are all growing. We are consolidating our organization. So ambition is the world, ambition to consolidate our project, and ambition to strengthen the social economy in Europe. And this is a project that we are all going through. And it's quite of an interesting one. A process of matureness.
So yeah, I'll tell you mine. I think I've been happy with the fact that this pandemic has given everybody a chance to reflect a little bit, and it's given us a chance to miss things. So I think it's really important. We got very used to having everything, and once it's taken away from you, you kind of begin to realize what was good about life before that. And so it's given us some chance to kind of anticipate things and look forward to things again. And I'm very much looking forward to opening up, and hopefully it manages to stay open. So I'm feeling quite positive now. Right, I'm going to read off some headlines, and we're going to try and do this as quickly as possible, but we really want to show everybody today how things have moved forward so quickly in 2021. It's been an amazing year for us. It's been an amazing year for the social economy, and things are really mainstreaming, and they're happening quicker than ever. So we're going to go through some different things today, and we're going to start with the Social Economy Action Plan, which is ready to be released in the last quarter of 2021. And we'll explain everything we've done in order to help spread that message far and wide, to motivate and inspire other organizations to contribute to the action plan. We're going to explain about the Social Economy Intergroup, which is a cross-party group of over 80 MEPs in support of the social economy. Social Economy Europe are the secretariat for the Intergroup, and it was renewed in January of 2020. And since then, it's been making waves with important public hearings. So we're going to explain about those as well. We're going to explain about the EU presidencies of the Council, what was going on at the beginning of this year, and the monitoring committee of the Luxembourg Declaration. It's quite a mouthful, but what it really means is meetings of the EU member states who are friends of the social economy. So we'll explain about those. We're then going to give a nice overview of our events, the Social Economy Europe events and collaborations. We'll talk about the SEE family and how we're growing, and how, if you are an organization that wants to be a part of Social Economy Europe, what you can do about that. There are ways that we can grow further. We'll talk about our communications, which has been a really important progression this year. Our communications are rocking, and we're really happy with that. And finally, we'll talk about some conclusions and the really important next steps. So without further ado, let's get started with the Social Economy Action Plan. So Victor, over to you. I know you've got so much important stuff to say about this, so let's hear it.
But basically, the idea is ordering where we are and what we still have to do to have a strong social economy action plan. So where we are, we basically throughout the year have done a lot collectively with many institutions. The Social Economy Action Plan was proposed by the European Commission in December 2019. Commissioner Schmidt was given mandate, and then it was in the European Commission work plan for this year under the headline "An Economy That Works for People." The Social Economy Action Plan will be an instrument to achieve that economy that works for people, and not only because it will be crossing and having relationships with other policy initiatives, such as the Green Deal. So yeah, it is becoming a reality. It will be a reality by the end of the year, and the European Commission has also done a lot individually and collectively to go there, to raise inputs from all social economy stakeholders and also from other institutions to design an effective social economy action plan. So the first thing that we did from Social Economy Europe, and you all know that, so it will be very brief, is that at the beginning of the year, we designed a new proposal of Social Economy Action Plan. We published a policy paper that was called Co-Designing the Action Plan for the Social Economy, for an Economy That Works for People and the Planet. And that was a very interesting job. I think that it was published in March. We approved it at the end of February, and we were able to publish it in March 2021. With the agreement of all our members, and even in cooperation with 4 external organizations at the time, of which 2 now are members of Social Economy Europe. So it was a very cool exercise, and I will not go through it because everyone knows that paper. It will be in the description of the video anyway. Then the European Commission also published a roadmap to which every actor could contribute, and they got 133 replies, which is quite good. Next time it will be more, I can promise that. But 133 is quite a lot, and not only from usual suspects. Nick, you wanted to say something about that?
Yeah, no, I just I was going to mention that the fact that it's not from the usual suspects is something that's so positive. It really demonstrates the way that we're growing and expanding outside of our typical bubble. I mean, one of those was the WWF, which we were very pleased with. An organization that doesn't typically focus on the social economy, and they were compelled to give some input into this. So yeah.
So at the end, this coincides with the fact that it is a year of ambition. We are growing and we are being mainstream. So it's not only the people that are social economy actors that are becoming interested by the social economy, but also others, because they see it as a nice instrument to achieve their objectives. In the case of the WWF, a fair green transition. And then 2 key European institutions reports and did opinions and gave their opinion about the social economy action plan. So in April, the ESC approved its opinion. It was done by a colleague of us, a member of Social Economy Europe family, Giuseppe Guerini, who is the president of CICOP, and he is also the president of the ESC social economy category. He's a very cool guy, and it was done in cooperation with Cinzia Del Rio, who is an Italian trade unionist. And it is an interesting opinion. It will also be in the description, and I think that it reflects very well, although you know that doing opinions inside the institutions is a collective process. There are amendments, the whole plenary has to approve it. It reflects very well the personality of Giuseppe, who is a guy who is always looking at innovation. So there is a lot about platform cooperatives. There is a lot about strengthening workers' buyouts in the European Union. There is a lot about social innovation, about volunteering. I think that it's a nice opinion that focuses on areas for innovation for the social economy. And then the Committee of the Regions, very recently in July, also published an opinion on the social economy action plan. It was done by the Regional Minister for Economy of Navarra, Miquel Irujo. It was a very cool experience, and to work with him. And I think that it's an opinion. It also talks about workers' buyouts, socially responsible public procurement, and so on and so forth. Last, to finish here, and I will pass the floor to Clara, who has been, and Nicolas also have been some of these meetings. Of course, once you have proposals to build this action plan, as civil society, as Social Economy Europe, once we had our roadmap, what we want to see in that social economy action plan, what are our ambitions, we have shared them with policymakers. So together with the president and the vice presidents, we have had meetings with Nicolas Schmidt. I think the meeting with Nicolas Schmidt was in April, and we will have another meeting with him very soon in September. We are asking him to have a meeting, not only with us, but also with a group of regions from all over Europe that have strong social economic policies, so that also regions, this proximity ecosystem, this local ecosystem is giving their opinion and their ambitions in social economy. The regions of Wallonia, for instance, in Belgium, that has an amazing social economic policy. The regions of Navarra in Spain and also Murcia, Nouvelle-Aquitaine in France, regions from Poland, regions from Italy, Slovenia. So regions from all over the European Union that have strong policies for the social economy and can share their insights. So yeah, that's it. We have had meetings with Commissioner Nicolas Schmidt. We have also had meetings with the 2 heads of unit on charge of social economy and branch at DG Employment, Anna Athanasopoulos at DG Grow. We have had meetings with the special advisor of the commissioner to design this action plan, who is Nicolas Hazard, a French guy, a social economy entrepreneur himself, a very entrepreneurial and clever guy. And we have also had meetings with member states, and I will pass, and in particular with France. So I will pass the floor to Clara, who was in that meeting, to tell us a bit how the meeting with France.
So basically on June 30th, we met with the French State Secretary for Social and Solidarity Economy and Responsible Economy, Olivia Grégoire, at the French Permanent Representation to the EU in Brussels. So from Social Economy were present our both vice presidents, so Jérôme Sadier and Patricia Bouzy, Victor that is here, and me as an intern. And it's important to note that it was my first day, so it was an impressive meeting for first day. The main purpose of this meeting was to discuss the French position on a non-paper and to confirm the willingness of the French government and of social economy Europe to achieve a strong economy action plan. And so regarding social economy, French authorities identified three main pillars to be worked on. So namely the first one being increasing the recognition and visibility of the social economy. Secondly, working with social impact bonds. And finally, increase its access to finance. And that was basically it for the meeting.
All right, thank you very much, Clara. So, I mean, these are all incredibly important tools that we can use in order to get the actions that our members and that we desire into the action plan. And then, especially working with member states, it's so important for the implementation of the action plan later on. They've got to be on board. They've got to be on our side. So that's fantastic. Speaking about influencing policy, one of the major impacts that we can have as Social Economy Europe is as our role as Secretariat of the Social Economy Intergroup. And as I mentioned before, it's a role of over 80 MEPs in support of the social economy. It's cross-party, so you have it kind of removes the politics from the situation, and it just makes that many people from different backgrounds really pushing our ideas forward, not just our ideas, the ideas of our members and the social economy community in general. So we've had 3 main public hearings this year, including one which was in February, on the 18th of February, on digitalization. And here it was on skills and digitalization and on investing in social economy and tomorrow's economy. And I'll link the video in the description, but here we had 11 high-level speakers and over 370 participants at this public hearing. And it's a really fantastic way to get the message out there. It was the discussions focused around upskilling and reskilling and the importance of identifying skills gaps. Before we try and fill those gaps, we have to know what they are. The added value of the social economy in actually addressing these skills gaps, especially compared to traditional business. We also mentioned the Pact for Skills, which is such an important policy aspect that's happening at the moment. We won't go into it because we've gone into it at other moments. But it was a really amazing event. It was chaired and moderated by Heather Roy, and it was technically hosted by us, by Social Economy Europe. And Heather Roy is the Secretary General of Eurodiaconia, one of our members. And it also had in it the co-chairs of the social economy, Patricia Toya, Sven Giegold, and it also had an introductory message from Nicola Schmidt. So Nicola Schmidt's name comes up a lot. So he's a really important character for us right now. And I really hope he listens to this, because that would be fantastic. He gets mentioned a lot, and we would really love to have him on the podcast as well in the future to discuss the action plan. So another event that we had with the Social Economy Intergroup, it was at the European Social Economy Summit. So the European Social Economy Summit is actually part of the German presidency of the Council of the European Union. And it was set to be at some point in 2020, but actually it had to get postponed due to COVID. So they had it in May of 2021. And the Social Economy Intergroup actually organized an event on the main stage, a plenary event on the main stage of the USIS Summit. And it was on mainstreaming social economy in EU policies. And again, here we had Patricia Toya, Sven Giegold, we had Manon Aubry, and we had Juan Antonio Pedreño, the president of Social Economy Europe. And it was a really, really fantastic event with a huge audience. I mean, at the Social Economy Summit, there were over 3,000 people in active attendance during the 2-day summit. So it was another chance to really spread the message. So we were really thrilled with that event. And the last thing we recently did was on the 6th of July, so very recent, and it's a meeting that we had in Strasbourg. And so, Clara, I'm going to hand over to you, because we were all there, actually. It was a really nice trip to go down to Strasbourg. One of the first times we had been in-person meeting, which was really wonderful. And
very nice weather, right? The weather was amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, we couldn't really see even in 10 meters in front of the car, right? Because of the rain. Oh my word, it was amazing. We got there in one piece, Victor had a long day driving all the way there and all the way back, but fantastic job. So Clara, what were your thoughts about this? What happened in Strasbourg?
Yeah, so basically on the 6th of July, we left really, really early in the morning to Strasbourg, which was a bit hard during the day. And so there was a meeting of the Bureau of the Social Economy Intergroup, to which were represented by the MEPs Patricia Toya and Jordi Cañas. And they were meeting with the mayor of Strasbourg, Jeanne Barcelguian, I hope I pronounced it right, and her team. And of course, the SE team was present, so all of us were there. But also accompanied by the president, Juan Antonio Peñeño, and one of our vice president, Patricia Buzzi. And so we mainly discussed the upcoming French presidency of the European Conference on Social Economy, which is going to be held in Strasbourg on the 17th, 18th February 2021, or we hope so. And this conference represents an opportunity to increase the visibility of the Commission Social Economy Action Plan. And it also aims to bring together different social economy actors with an ultimate goal to lead to more cooperation between the parties.
That was lovely. And so, Victor, I don't know if you have anything else to add about the interview, but if not, then we shall move on to the EU presidencies, the third headline that we have today, and a really important way for us to integrate with the institutions. So, so tell us all about it.
Right. So indeed, as Clara was saying, actually, it's linked what she was saying. Every year, the European Union has two presidencies of the Council of the European Union. So, I mean, we have explained it 100 times. I will do it once again because I think that awareness raising on the EU is important. We have a triangle, a decisional triangle, as we say, in EU language, in which the Commission is in the center, is at the top of the triangle, and then at the basis we have the European Parliament and the Council, which means that the Commission proposes, and then the Parliament and the Council co-legislate, co-decide. In the site of the Council, we have two councils, right? One is the European Council with heads of state and government, and that has a permanent chair, which is in this moment Charles Michel, former Prime Minister of Belgium. And then we have the Council of the European Union. So as I was saying, the European Council is heads of state and government. The Council of the European Union is ministerial. You will have all the different ministers for all the different topics meeting together and deciding public policies, sectorial public policies together. It can be employment, it can be economy, everyone. I mean, the Eurogroup for ministers of economy and finance, or the ECOFIN rings a bell to everyone because it is in the news every single day, right? They are taking important decisions about the future of the European Union. So there is another for employment, another for healthcare, and so on and so forth. Every policy dimension, even internal affairs, and I mean everything. Okay, so the Council of the European Union has two presidencies per year. Every semester there is a country, it's what we call a rotating presidency, and there is a country taking the presidency. This year it has been in the first semester of the year Portugal, and in the second semester it will be Slovenia. And next year in the first semester it will be France. And that's why, as Clara was saying, France will organize a conference on the 17th and 18th of February 2022 on social economy in Strasbourg. That's 100% sure, 100% sure that it will happen. We will see how, depending on the rest of reality and how everything moves and advances. Also regarding the pandemic. Hopefully it will not be, I mean, I think that the hybrid dimension is always cool because it brings people that cannot participate otherwise, but hopefully it will be a large presential event, and the ambitions of Strasbourg and of the French presidency are mobilizing 2,000 people, by the way. So as we were saying, the first semester of this year, Portugal was chairing the Council of the EU, and they had a very ambitious agenda. I mean, their motto, their main objective was time to deliver a fair, green, and digital recovery. So, I mean, you see, time to deliver. We really need to deliver our promises to EU citizens. We really need to strengthen the European Union. And first of all, the recovery needs to be green and digital, but first of all, it needs to be fair. That's what the title of this, the motto of this Portuguese presidency reminds us. And it was a very ambitious one, a very successful one. I think that everyone agrees that Portugal has done a very nice job. They have done more than 500 events, 554 events. They have signed 23 agreements in Brussels among their peers, among member states. And then Portugal has received, even in this current situation, over 307,000 visitors. So quite important figures for the time in which we are living, right? In these pandemic times or hybrid times. And given the circumstances during the first semester of the year. Social economy was always high at the agenda of the Portuguese presidency. That's quite important. It was actually in their program. Yeah, on the 29th of March, they actually organized a high-level event of the Social Economy Action Plan with the participation of the Commissioner, Nicola Schmidt, with the participation of SE President, Juan Antonio Pedreño, with the participation of a lot of people from the social economy community, Giuseppe Garini, Manuela from the European Commission, and so on and so forth. So that was quite of a cool event, by the way, to co-decide, to speak about this upcoming social economy action plan. Then the main dish of the Portuguese presidency, with no doubt, was the Porto Social Summit. The Porto Social Summit came right after the adoption of the European Pillar of Social Rights Action Plan by the Commission, and it was the moment for member states to engage. Okay, so again, we have promises. The European Commission is promising to achieve these goals, and we all know the goals because we have talked about them in previous podcasts, and I am sure that we will find them in the description. But now we need the engagement of member states. We really need to engage. And that's what for Porto, that was the aim of Porto Summit. We were invited there. Civil society played a key role there. By the way, I think that we can be proud of the alliances that we have built with the social platform and with the ETUC, for instance, among others, right? So the social platform representing European NGOs, the ETUC representing trade unions, European trade unions, European workers. So yeah, it was a pleasure for the Social Economy Europe. I think that it means a lot that we were very important in this historical moment for the European Union, adopting Porto Declaration, engaging member states, really engaging to achieve the goals that are in the European Pillar of Social Rights Action Plan. Another interesting thing, I think, and I think that it's quite relevant, is that on the 21st of June, the Portuguese presidency also promoted the European platform to combat homelessness, which is, as we all know, quite of an important problem of the European Union, right? No one should have. Everyone should have the opportunity not to sleep at the streets, right, of our European cities. For that, policymakers and together, civil society, NGOs, social economy, we can mobilize each other, we can mobilize us and find real solutions, housing solutions, for instance. So this platform was created. Congratulations, by the way, to other of our partners, to FEANSA, which is the European Federation precisely representing and defending the rights of homeless people in the European Union. So great job. And Social Economy Europe, again, was very proud to be signatory of the Lisbon Declaration on combating homelessness. And I will hand over, I think, to Clara, if I'm not wrong, to tell us a bit more about the Cascais Declaration that was adopted 1 week ago.
Yes, so on the 13th of July in Cascais, so in Portugal, a conference was held focusing on a European action plan for the social economy, introducing the different challenges and priorities linked to it. And so the event was organized by the Portuguese presidency of the Monitoring Committee of the Luxembourg Declaration on Social Economy, which, as previously explained, is composed of member states engaged and committed to the social economy. Different speakers, such as the mayor of Cascais, Carlos Carreiras, or the Portuguese minister Ana Mendes Godinho, and Nicola Schmidt, the commissioner, shared their views on the relevance of the social economy and its importance as a tool for social innovation, among other things. SE once again participated in this conference and also in a private meeting with the Monitoring Committee of the Luxembourg Declaration. And with Nick, we actively followed the conference also. At the end of the conference, the Cascais Declaration on Social Economy was adopted. And it further encourages countries to develop the capacity of the social economy and ultimately embrace its values to work toward a more cooperative and inclusive EU.
I think Cascais is one of the 5 cities of the social economy in Portugal this year. And I think Portugal have done something really interesting, where normally there's one city which is, represents city for the social economy. And Portugal this year have decided to create a network of 5 cities, and it's really worked well. And it's been fantastic. They produced an amazing video, which was released in March, I think, which is really fantastic to promote that. And I think it might be something that other councils can take forward in the future. So that was really interesting. So we're actually moving in now. Now we're in July. It's now moved to the Slovenian presidency. And the Slovenian presidency, again, are they have social economy as part of their agenda. It's really, really exciting for us because we're going to have another conference on the social economy. And this time it's going to be on the 12th of October. So this is a conference on the social economy and social innovation. So it's going to be really, really exciting. And speaking of social innovation, this is one of the names of the categories of an award. Now, Social Economy Europe are organizing, along with our members and along with the whole social economy community, the first ever European Social Economy Awards, and we're calling it for 2021, but of course it's going to happen in the future as well. Now there's 3 important awards that we're going to be giving, and the first one is on social innovation. There's going to be an award for green transition and an award for digitalization and skills, and this is happening on the same day as the European Conference on Social Economy and Social Innovation in Slovenia on the 12th of October. I won't tell you any more about it because all over our social media you will find ways to actually apply for this. The applications are open until the 6th of September, and then a really high-level judging panel are going to choose the 2 finalists from each category. So this is really, really exciting news for us. We'll tell you more about it at the end, but since we're running out of time, I wanted to mention it now. But then after that, we also have some good news for the member states that are going to be taking over the council, the presidency of the Council of the European Union. So we've got the Czech Republic, we've got Sweden, and then we've got Spain, and then we've got Belgium, and then after that we've got Hungary. But many of these member states have got social economy high on their priority list. And so we're talking about 1.5 to 2 years of social economy being high on the council's list. So that's fantastic news. It hasn't always been that way. And so this is just a testament to how hard the social economy ecosystem has been working in general. So congratulations to everybody on that. We're going to move on now to talk about our events and our collaboration. I mean, this is the heart and soul of Social Economy Europe since I've joined, because I was so impressed with the amount of events that Social Economy Europe were doing. And now I've been here a year now, and I've seen it firsthand just how well Victor in particular has organized so many events over the past years.
Teamwork, Nikki. We have done it together.
It's very impressive. It's very impressive. And people comment to me all the time. They say, how can you guys come up with so many events? And
and we try to sleep over 7 hours and 30 minutes, right? I mean, this we can reassure people.
Let's talk about events for this year, because I've been counting up, and it was quite a job to count up all the events that Social Economy Europe have either co-organized or organized. And it's 15. It's 15. I mean, I will have to check that number, but it's 15 events that Social Economy Europe have organized in 7 months. And that's serious stuff. And that's not to mention the events that Social Economy Europe have been a part of through Victor talking, or our president, Juan Antonio Pedreño, speaking on behalf of Social Economy Europe in many events. I haven't even had time to count them all up. So you'll have to wait for the 2021 annual report for that. But that's going to be a huge number. And it's just a fantastic demonstration of the hard work that's been put in. And we are so happy that so many organizations have been willing to work with us and have invited us to speak at these events. It helps us get our message across. It helps fertilize the landscape for our ideas, and that's what this is all about. So we started off this year with a really important event on youth. Victor, you were moderating this event, so I'm going to let you take over.
Thanks, colleague. Well, indeed. I mean, I think that for all of us and for you too, Nick, because you were also there, it was quite an important and even emotionally important event, because we were, we were doing what something that is very basic but very important, which is reaching out and also trying to attract new people into social economy entrepreneurship. And what we demonstrated is that a lot of young people all over the European Union are becoming social economy entrepreneurs, are trying to become change makers through the social economy, are finding their life projects through the social economy. So that was a very cool experience. By the way, it was organized by us in cooperation with Cooperatives Europe. That I think that I don't have the record, but it's the first time historically that we organized something together with the organization that represents the whole cooperative movement, the different sectors and families of the cooperative movement. I love that, so I will not go into it, but the cooperatives are all over the place. So that was very cool. And yeah, it was a very nice experience to share that with COPS Europe and with Helene Hayes in particular, who is a team member of COPS Europe working on development on COPS for that project. So yeah, I think that for us, I will not say more on it, but for us it was quite a fun important one. And mobilizing very fresh testimonies of social economy entrepreneurs, students interested by the social economy and being empowered through the social economy, cooperative schools and social economy schools, and so on, from all over Europe, but also from Argentina, also from Ukraine, where there is a very cool social academy led by a colleague of us who was participating in the event. So yeah, it was super interesting. And we also had MEPs such as Brando Benifei, and of course the heads of unit in charge of social economy, the two heads of unit and branch, and Ulla Engelman, who at the time was in charge of social economy at DG Grow. So yeah, a very cool one and important for us. And then maybe a word about the Act for Social EU Coalition. So the Act for Social EU Coalition is a coalition led by two of our members, ESS France, so the French Chamber of Social and Solidarity Economy, our French national member, let's say, representing all social economy enterprise and organizations, and by IPSE, which is the European Institute for Social Protection. And basically, they share this objective. Together, they share this objective of building a more social European Union, which puts social affairs, fairness, social convergence, fighting inequalities, welfare at the center of its agenda. And we participate, we are members of that coalition, and we support that coalition. We have organized 3 events with them, which is quite a lot also, and 3 events, I think, in 3 months, right? It was mostly in February and April.
That's right.
So yeah, quite a lot. And I think just one word about that. I think that it has been nice to learn new people, learn think tanks that are reflecting on building a more social Europe, that are reflecting on the demographic transition. So it's also for us a way to open to the whole social sphere.
Great way for me to learn French as well. No, they're fantastic.
We do the rest of the podcast in French. Is that right?
On y va. So let me explain a little bit about another event called we used the hashtag WeBuySocialEU, and this was a webinar that was held, and on how the social economy enterprises can benefit from public procurement, a really important aspect of how social economy organizations can work with the institutions and gain prominence. So this is a very, very interesting webinar, and it was a project commissioned by the Executive Agency for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, or ESME, and the European Commission, or DG Grow, with 2 main objectives. The first one was to collect good practices and cases on socially responsible public procurement, and the second objective was to raise awareness about socially responsible public procurement among public authorities and to encourage social economy enterprises to engage with public procurement more, to try and get more involved. And we actually produced, along with ADL and the ICLEI, we produced a publication, which was called Making Socially Responsible Public Procurement Work, 71 Good Practice Cases. And this paper, which you can find on our website, I will link it in the description below as well, can be found on our, was discussed, and it was a really, really important awareness raising tool, an amazing event. Victor, please, before we get on to Mannheim again, can you tell us a bit about the Stand Up for the Social Pillar Alliance? I mean, this has been a really big deal this year.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that many of you know that we have this alliance with trade unions, but also with one of our members, SICA, but also with the social platform and with the European Movement International. And again, together we work to strengthen the agenda and to raise awareness on the European Pillar of Social Rights. We have organized 2 events together this year. One was quite impressive. It took place in March, right after the one on youth. And we had, I think that even at some points, over 1,000 people following us. So big success. It was all the time between 800 and 1,000. One of the biggest events that we have organized by ourselves in cooperation with others this time, right? So quite massive. The commissioner was there. And I think that, again, the main lesson out of it, then we organized another one about demographic change and about welfare states. But I think that the main lesson of those 2 events is the importance of building alliances and working with others to achieve common objectives, building larger coalitions. So I will stop there.
I mean, coalitions has been something that has really been happening for us over the last years, and it's a wonderful way to again spread that message, make that build that foundation stronger, so that we're a more resilient movement in the future as well. Fantastic. So now I'm going to explain about the UN Task Force for the Social and Solidarity Economy. It's a task force that we are also a member of. And it's fantastic. At the USIS event, the European Social Economy Summit that we mentioned earlier, which was organized with the city of Mannheim in Germany, it's quite a mouthful, as part of the German presidency of the Council of the European Union. We had on the 29th of April as part of the Digital Road to Mannheim, and we actually have a whole podcast on this, so I won't explain right now what it was. We had an event on social and solidarity economy, leading the implementation of the Agenda 2030 and a fair recovery. So this was a really interesting event that examined how and why the social and solidarity economy plays in a pluralist economy a transformative role in pursuing the SDGs. So we have policy recommendations, we had good practices, we had loads of different ways, and the different of the 17 sustainable development goals that social economy really works towards, and different examples of that. And so we have to thank Mr. Vic van Buren for helping us with that and helping us to organize. And he is the director of the International Labour Organization Enterprise Management Team. So he is a very, very good friend of the social economy and Social Economy Europe as well. And then we'll move on to another event, which was, it took a different turn from the typical events that we do. And we actually organized an event as part of EU Green Week. And the reason this event happened, the event was called Social Economy Solutions Towards Zero Pollution, Air, Land and Water. The event was co-organized by us and with Reuse, which is a circular economy network of networks. It's a fantastic organization. But we had been listening in all these events with the USIS and in our own bureau meetings, in our own meetings with our members and our boards of directors, that we need to spread the word of the social economy beyond our general normal bubble. And so we thought to ourselves, well, how can we do this? Well, we know that the social economy works towards a green transition, but do environmental policymakers know that? Do people who are already interested in the green transition and the environmental shift, do they even know the social economy exists? Do they know what it is? And that's part of what this podcast is about, is to kind of teach people about the basics of what the social economy is. And so we held this event. And I won't go through all the names of the people. I mean, there was a stunning range of different presidents of important organizations, like Dirk van Sintian, the president of Res Co-op. We had Agamemnon Otero, who's an MBE from the UK, and founding director of Energy Garden, an amazing energy cooperative, renewable energy cooperative community in London. We had Katie Treadwell, who is Energy Policy Officer from the WWF. And we've been working with her and talking about coalitions and signing joint agreements. Through our cooperation with the WWF, we learned about the Common Vision for a Just Transformation from CAN Europe, the Climate Action Network, which not only did we sign, we also got to influence that text, and we put our social economy language in there in order to really expand how far that text was going in this just transformation vision. I'll also link that in the description. We had circular economy organizations that work for ecological agriculture. We had a fantastic organization called ERES, which have a carbon calculator, which means through reusing things and not throwing them away, you can actually calculate how much carbon you're saving. And all of their organizations, as they're a network as well, are social economy organizations. So this is learning fantastic lessons. And then Victor and I were both very impressed with the story of the cooperative of the water, La Comunidad Minera Olesana, which is what we think could be a whole European movement for cooperative water management. I mean, it's a stunning story, and I'll link the video and the full report in the description. So we were really pleased with that event. And we're going to talk a little bit about collaboration. I'm very anxious of the time because I don't want to take too much of people's holiday time when they're listening to this, but we're so enthusiastic about the work we're doing, we want to spread it to the world. So why not talk about it? So Victor, really important is these projects that we're doing with the OECD. So I think it's worth us spending a bit of time and explaining those.
I will try to be as brief as possible, but indeed I think that it's cool, and it's cool that everyone knows about it if they are interested, right? So for the very first time, because it's helping also to, we tend, human beings in general, we tend to work in bubbles. So now we're connecting many of these bubbles, and we are building a very strong network. And this is very cool because it has the potential to create systemic change. And the OECD and the European Union, through this project, they are accelerating this movement and connecting a lot of people that is working in the same direction, but that didn't necessarily know each other before. So the European Union has, to simplify, the European Union has given some money to the OECD, which is the European, the organization, not the European, the Organization for Economic Development, of which the richest countries in the world, to a certain extent, the most developed countries in the world, the most developed economies are part of. And the OECD, if it rings a bell, most of you know it because it has a strong work on education and a strong work on economic development. Those are two pillars of the OECD action. So what the European Union has done in cooperation, is doing in cooperation with the OECD, is working at global level. So we are going outside of the European Union on important areas for the social economy. One of them is legal frameworks. Another one is internationalization. Then you have other PLPs working, for instance, on impact measurements or on gender equality. So this is happening, and it's quite interesting. From Social Economy Europe side, we are very honored to participate in two PLPs, in two peer learning platforms. One on legal frameworks led by our member CEPES, so we're Spanish member in cooperation with REPS, one of our European members representing local and regional authorities engaged in the promotion of social economy. And we are also working on the nationalization together, led by DSS, by the way, and with the participation of Mondragon University, INAES, which is the National Institute of Social Economy of Mexico. And you and I, Nick, we have been, but also Clara, I think, we have been participating in several meetings of these PLPs. And how cool is it to talk with people from the US, from Mexico, from Canada, from Korea, from India, from Brazil, and of course from all over the European Union about legal frameworks for the social economy. How cool is it to learn from each other?
It's inspiring, yeah.
It's amazing, huh? Also, I mean, it allows us not to work in silos, to learn from each other. So two very cool projects, those ones, and a big honor for us to be part of it. And it shows, again, the ambition and how the social economy is scaling up. We are not working only in Europe, we are building a global movement, and that's very cool.
It's amazing. I mean, the whole point of the peer learning partnerships is to learn from each other, and that's exactly what's happening. We've already learned so much just from it, and we've been able to give our input as well, which is very exciting. And as you say, a complete honor. Now, in terms of collaboration, we've also been collaborating heavily with the American Sustainable Business Council this year. So not only do we already have a podcast episode, which I won't go into now, but it's a really interesting one on basically cross-fertilizing the traditional business of the American Sustainable Business Council membership, who are usually traditional businesses, but with a sustainability lean. They're strongly leaning into the sustainability, and their cooperation with us allows the values of the social economy to infiltrate these traditional businesses. And it's this really nice term, cross-pollination, which is a really, really great example of what we can do as a movement. I mean, the social economy, not every business in the future is going to be a social economy business. That's probably not possible. But can every business behave more like a social economy business or organization? Absolutely. And that would make the world a better place. So these kinds of collaborations are really exciting. And another thing we did was sign a joint statement on the US Climate Summit, where we said Social Economy Europe and the American Sustainable Business Council welcome the achievements of the leaders of the Summit on Climate. And this was held by Joe Biden, and it was basically Europe and America aligning their ambitions to become carbon neutral by 2050. And even before that, we're hoping. So really fantastic. I won't go into any more details about that because all the links are in the description. And one of the most important things we need to talk about before we finish is this Social Economy Europe family. I mean, we're growing. We're blessed to have Clara here as an intern, but we've also had other interns and volunteers throughout the years. And we also have some new membership. So Victor, can you explain?
Yeah, so I mean, every year we're growing in membership. Last year we had 3 new members, and this year we have had so far 2 new members. One is the Will, which is the Boys of Charities and Social Enterprises in Ireland, a very cool organization, a very cool coalition of charitable actors, associations, social enterprises, quite strong, that works in cooperation with the Irish government, that works also to offer those enterprises, charities, social enterprises, and so on, EU opportunities. They manage a very cool project about all the European opportunities, about raising awareness on all European opportunities, projects, and so on, for the local social economy and the local charitable sector. And we also had as a new member DSS, which is basically a sort of think tank, but also consultancy, a cooperative in itself, which has a network of members from all over the European Union that works to advance and to promote social economy, to generate projects, European projects at the service of the social economy community, research, innovation. So a very cool organizations to which, by the way, we share our offices and to which we have been cooperating forever. So it was very cool to welcome them on Social Economy Europe family.
Yeah, it's about time they were part of the family, I think. When I first started, I couldn't believe how much I was seeing the same faces in many of these meetings. And I thought, well, they should become members, and now they are. So it's fantastic. Now, we had a very important General Assembly this year, and we decided to have a different take this time. Instead of producing a 2020 report, which was a big, long document that many people might not have time to read, we actually produced a really exciting video which summed everything up. I'm not going to play the video now, but you can find it on our homepage. So of course, the first link in our description will be our homepage. So all you have to do is click on the website. You can watch our video and find everything we did in 3 minutes, not this hour-long episode, which has been super interesting, but a 3-minute of everything that happened in 2020. And I've mentioned the interns and volunteers, but this is an official moment for us to really thank them. And so just at the beginning of this year in March, we were joined by Delia Postiglione from Italy and Paola Gonzalez Relinque. And Paola and Delia were a really, really strong addition to the team. They allowed a lot of this work to really happen. And you can check out some of their blogs on our blog page. Again, I will link it in the description. And then also we want to use this opportunity to thank you, Clara, for all your amazing work so far. I mean, it hasn't been very long, But like I said at the beginning, it's been really impressive. I have to say, really, really impressive. And you are helping us in ways that you don't know you're helping us yet. We are grateful, extremely grateful. So I don't know if you want to say a couple of words about how you feel about what you've been up to, anything you really want to do, or if you would recommend it to other people.
Indeed, it has been a short internship and actually already soon coming to an end. But so I can reflect on the past few weeks a bit already, which have been truly amazing for my part. And indeed, I was shocked how much I learned in such a short amount of time. That was incredible. I've gained a wide range of skills, actually, that for sure will be considered relevant in any of my future endeavors. And before starting, I knew nothing about social economy, and I think it's such a pity that even at school it wasn't mentioned in any of economic or actually EU classes. But actually, I think that social economy can really contribute to the strengthening of social cohesion, for instance, democratic values as sustainable developments, and many other things. So actually, indeed, I would recommend this internship to anybody, and I've actually mentioned it to some friends already. So maybe in September you will receive some candidate proposal. So yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Well, they're always welcome. And in fact, it's really interesting you mentioned education. Now, I have an education background, but it's something that we're really working on with the UN Task Force for the Social and Solidarity Economy as well, is the idea of getting social economy into the curriculum. Difficult task. It's going to take a long time, but really relevant and really important. I mean, after all, in Europe, at least, it's around 8% of Europeans' GDP comes from the social economy. That should be taught in business classes, at least. I mean, that's really important. And youth, getting, as Victor mentioned before, getting the youth aware of what's going on. It's very important for our cause, and it's very important for their cause as well, in order to be employed with decent work and decent conditions. So we're about to finish. We're just going to finish quickly with some communications news. This will take no time at all. But we had two really, really interesting campaigns this year. We had the SEE for Action Plan, which was our hashtag to promote our proposals for the action plan that Victor mentioned earlier, which was developed along with our members. And we had some fantastic, in just 2 months, we had some fantastic results. So combined Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn results showed 679 likes, 197 shares, and over 1,416 people viewed videos of our proposals, of at least our 7 main priorities for the proposals. So that is really a good way for us to get the word out there in a short amount of time. And then we also, for the huge Road to Mannheim, the digital Road to Mannheim, which was the events in the run-up to the European Social Economy Summit, I think, I have to recount this, but I think that within our members and our friends and our partners, we had over 30 different events in the USIS Summit at the end in May. So just in 2 days, 30 different events, all from within the Social Economy Europe network, and mostly among our members. And so what we wanted to do, we wanted to promote that high and wide, far and wide, I'm forgetting my English now. And we had over 103 posts on social media, 910 likes, and 375 times these were shared by different people. I mean, that's just for the European Social Economy Summit in May. So that's a really, really quite a powerful, strong, very short, but effective campaign. So we're pleased with that. And we've also, in terms of Twitter, for example, increased our number of people visiting our profile by 8 times compared to last year. Okay, in every single month upcoming. It slows down a little bit in July, of course. But so that's a huge achievement. So we're really happy with that. Speaking of which, that's going to help us lead into what we have to do next. I mean, we could talk about this for a whole other podcast, so we'll just give you the highlights. But I think the first thing that we need to mention as to what is happening next, coming from August, not much is going to happen in August, but from September is the organization of the Social Economy Awards. I mean, this is something that we're putting a lot of effort into. We have confirmed several judges. I won't give their names right now. I want to wait until all of our high-level gender balanced judging panel is really confirmed, and then we're going to spread that information across the internet so that everybody can realize these are prestigious awards. They don't happen often. There's no awards that happen like this in terms of the whole of the social economy as a whole movement. And it's going to be an in-person awards ceremony in Slovenia, and that's super exciting. So we cannot wait for that. And again, that's going to happen on the 12th of October. There'll be a big link in the description, so you will see it. But Victor, tell us what's happening in San Sebastian.
Yeah, we're having a very cool social economy. So 1 week before the Social Economy Awards, the celebration that will take place, the ceremony that will take place in Slovenia on the 12th of October. So some days before, on the 7th of October in San Sebastian, we will have a hybrid event of the Social Economy Intergroup. So you know that the Social Economy Intergroup organizes public hearings. We will have talked about that before. The next one is going to be in San Sebastian on the 7th of October. About what? About the potential of social economy to build back better and fairer. How to mobilize our potential for a fair recovery, for a fair green and digital transitions. So yeah, we are planning to have that in the framework of a very big celebration for the Basque cooperative movement. Basque cooperatives are huge. You know that Mondragon, which is the largest worker cooperatives of the world, is located in the Basque country. And we are planning to have their various MEPs, Patricia Toya and Sven Giegold, Jordi Cañas from Renew Europe, who, by the way, will be the rapporteur of the EP report on the Social Economy Action Plan. So he has an important task, and we have to work together quite a lot in developing that report by the European Parliament. We have also the confirmed assistance of the French State Secretary for Responsible and Social Solidarity Economy, Mrs. Olivier Grégoire. We have invited both Commissioner Schmidt and Thierry Breton, and hope they will be able to be there, if not personally, at least online, and also other member states. Of course, the Spanish Minister for Labor and Social Economy, Yolanda Díaz, and the rapporteurs of the ESC and the Committee of the Regions on the Social Economy Action Plan. So quite an interesting event, and that will be a live stream. So an invitation to everyone to follow it. Amazing. And by the way, it's just something else in parallel to the MS conference, which will take place in the Spanish social economy capital, which is Teruel. So during that whole week in the north of Spain, in Teruel, MS, which is a research center for social enterprise and social economy, will be holding also its annual conference.
I mean, that's so exciting. I mentioned the dreaded hybrid events earlier, but really they're a fantastic opportunity for the whole world to be able to get involved. From a technical standpoint, it's quite stressful, as you can imagine, because you have people coming in from video feeds and interpretation and things, but it's a super exciting challenge and well worth the effort. So we're learning every day about that as well as a team. So that's fantastic. And just the last point is it's a bit of a fun one. We've been working with a really interesting organization called Chavez. It's an organization that works for the social economy in Western Pomerania in Poland. And we are working with them to develop a guide on accessible and inclusive tourism. So this is a really exciting guide. The guide should be coming out at the end of September, early October, and there's going to be a kind of launching conference that we get to go to, which is fantastic. It will also be a hybrid event, so you can go to that. And we'll be going there at the end of September. So these, when we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, we talked about the nice things that are happening this year. I mean, this kind of reopening is very exciting. I mean, we're going to be in Poland, then San Sebastian, then Slovenia within 3 weeks. So it can't be bad. So I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm going to say have an amazing holiday, you guys. But have an amazing holiday to all of the listeners who take the time to listen to this. This has been a nice, light-hearted podcast. It's not one that's dealing with the serious issues, but it's been a real celebration of all the stuff that we've been able to achieve. And the social economy ecosystem and community has been able to achieve since January. So fantastic. We couldn't have done it without all the support of all of our members, and the real generous time of many of the policymakers who have given us their time. So that's it from me. Thank you, everybody. And I'll pass over to you guys to conclude.
Enjoy the holidays, colleagues. Huh? I will pass the floor to Clara, maybe.
Yeah, same. Hope COVID doesn't interrupt all of your plans, and nice holidays.
And let's re-energize, because the coming months will be key for the social economy action plan. We need all the energy. It's not only us working on that, it's the whole European social economy community. 200 million members of co-ops, mutuals, and similar entities. 8% of the European GDP, as Nick said. So let's go for it. The coming months are going to be fundamental for us as a community. Holidays are needed to re-energize. All of us need them. Sorry for those who don't have holidays in the coming weeks. Let's go for it.
Let's do it. Okay, guys. Goodbye, everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful summer.